A property spruiker is under investigation. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and let's have a look at this article from the Sydney Morning Herald, because I suspect a lot of you are going to enjoy it. Now, a buy without the bank property spruiker is under investigation. Deanne de Leeuw. Let's jump over here and we can see her Facebook page. You know, I'm a successful property investor. I never give up. I'm an active taker. I stay focused. I give no excuse. I get it done. I'm just one deal away. One deal away from making it big. So, you know, who wants to make money from property without owning it? Drop me a yes and I'll gift you my 3-day course. Now, you'll find often on social media, particularly on YouTube, you'll see advertisements for people who want to sell you a course to make money, or an Amazon method to make money, or education to make money. Here's the trick. Often, they'll make their money from selling the education material. Think about it. There's a lot of reputable businesses that do legitimate courses, and they make good money on it. Once you have the course there, you've got a digital product that you can sell, and it'll just keep flowing money in. So, yeah. Let's jump and have a look at her LinkedIn. And before I do that, what qualifications do you think she's going to have? You know, let us know in the comments, guys. Good morning, Stein. And here we go. So, second degree contact. I kind of went on a LinkedIn binge a few years ago, competing with Rachel, who could get the most LinkedIn contacts. And the problem is, I now get spammed with so many idiots from overseas trying to contact me. So she's the owner of Creative Property Academy. Assist owners and investors to buy and sell properties using lease options and other creative property strategies. We provide education and coaching. For more information, you can watch their free webinar. So she's got a Cert 4 in finance and mortgage broking, and she's got a BA in information systems. So there we have it. Looks like she's just gone into property. So let's have a look. And from Tasmania, let's have a look at what this article has to say about her. So, because it could all be completely legitimate, but I'm just skeptical, everyone. I'm just skeptical, you know. A property spruiker who charges clients $10,000 to learn how to buy without a bank and become a millionaire property investor has been reported to authorities in Australia and New Zealand after clients complained they had been duped. Well, maybe that's the lesson you've got to pay. Tasmanian-based Deanne de Leeuw owns and operates the Creative Property Academy, positive cash flow investment, and buying without a bank, which she promotes through Facebook and YouTube. A spokesman for Tasmania's Justice Department confirmed its Consumer Affairs Division was investigating complaints about Creative Property Academy, and complaints have also been made in New South Wales. Several clients, who have in some cases borrowed money to join Miss de Leeuw's masterclass. I mean, here's the thing. She's got a Cert 4. How can she... she's not master's qualified. I know I'm being a pedantic bastard there, but think about it. Masterclass courses have told The Age and the Sydney Morning Herald they got nowhere near the promised returns of between $5,000 and $10,000 a month, and have claimed to authorities they were misled by Miss de Leeuw's advertising. Well, I mean, how much advertising isn't misleading? It'd be great if our politicians could be held to account for misleading advertising. I mean, you hear this all the time, particularly with Amazon reselling. You know, people can be quite successful in drop shipping and that, but then you'll find they'll always look at training. There'll always be a course, because it's a easier income stream. There are more people looking to break into the market. It's another bigger market, and it's not as easy to replicate. So, you know, the Chinese Amazon manufacturers, it's going to be a lot harder for them to replicate an English course than just to take your product, copy it, and do the same thing, or Amazon to replicate your product. In her advertisements, Ms. de Leeuw promotes her methods as being able to make $5,000 in 30 days from property you don't own, and turn people into a millionaire property investor in just 3 years without buying any property, instead by controlling property. Her wealth creation strategies rely on controversial financial schemes known as rent to buy or lease options. These schemes bring together sellers who are struggling to sell their properties and renters who are keen to buy but cannot secure finance. The renters pay an upfront deposit to secure an option to buy the property after an agreed period of time, often 3 years, during which they also sometimes pay higher than market rent. Ms. de Leeuw, who did not respond to questions from the Age and the Herald, encourages her clients to become intermediaries in such deals by seeking potential sellers and buyers and managing their lease option arrangements. One of the Facebook groups has 1,822 members. This just sounds... Oh, I just see nothing but risk here. Just risk and just dealing with idiots. And oh, boy. You can tell I've been in business too long. There's easier ways to make money than this. Surely. Surely. A former client in country New South Wales says he got involved in a lease option arrangement with Ms. de Leeuw via online platform Gumtree and lost about $60,000 in deposits and rental payments. Isn't it because my understanding is if they miss a payment, then they can lose everything? Or it's very, very risky. Vendor finance. I've never heard a good thing about vendor finance ever in my life. The only good thing I've heard about vendor finance was literally yesterday when I watched a Dave Ramsey, I think he had, millionaire call in. There's one millionaire and he did vendor finance, and you know what he did? He vendor financed his people coming up in his restaurant chain so they could become owners of their own restaurants. That's how he vendor financed. That's the only time I've ever heard a good story about vendor finance. Can you let me know if you've ever heard anything good or if you've had bad experiences for it? I mean, because if you can make the repayments, I mean, the cash rate is nothing, guys. Seriously, it is nothing. It's a joke. You got, Combank, 1.99% interest rate. That is not, it's not costing much to get access to money now, everyone. So if you can't get access to money now, why? It means you'd be at high risk of defaulting on one of these things. A South Australian client who paid $9,000 to participate in one of her courses last year, $9,000. See, that's the thing. They always put big sticker prices on that. You could get... Could you do a project management and bond for that? I honestly looked at, hang on, Bond University. It's a private university here in Australia. City, project management grad cert. Let's look at this. Project management grad cert cost. No, I don't want to go to that uni. Certificate 4. Graduate. Here we go. Okay, no, you can't quite. It looks like her course is equal to where the fees... Program fees. Okay. 20 grand. So her course is equal to half the cost of a Bond University. And this is the, the posh private uni on the Gold Coast. I used to go to the library every day after school from when I was in high school to do my study because it was so quiet in the law library. So what would you think would be more useful? A grad cert in project management from, a good university, and you could even get it cheaper. I think QT is like 15 grand or something. It's been a while since I've checked, guys, so I'm out of date. But let's just say she's pretty much charging you half the cost of a postgraduate qualification from Bond University for her course. Okay, what you tell me? You tell me, everyone. So, they $9,000 to participate in one of her courses last year. Wrote in a letter of complaint that she had not been told she would be calling vendors to try to convince them to get involved in lease option schemes that did not produce results as claimed. Yeah, cold calling is tough. It is really tough. You've got to do a lot of it. People will just hang up on you, ignore you. So how many people are gonna... I mean, there might be a big ball push at businesses like this. This is why you need to have a course outline before you sign up to one of these things. Cold calling 101. I've done it. I've had to do it. I bet you a lot of other small business people have had to do it, particularly when you get started. You've got to cold call. You've got to hit the streets. And it's not fun. It is not fun. Leanne Jackson, a former Creative Property Academy client, who was briefly employed by Ms. de Leeuw in 2018, said she'd been given Mr. Leeuw, she had given Mr. Leeuw a $165,000 short-term loan in 2018 to help buy a property in Tasmania. But as soon as Mr. Leeuw got the money, all communication dropped off, Ms. Jackson said, and she never made any interest payments. Well, you got to take it to court. You know, that's... Ms. Jackson was forced to obtain an order in the Supreme Court of Tasmania to have the bulk of the money repaid in June, having spent thousands of dollars in legal costs. That's the problem. She said she had believed Mr. Leeuw was her friend and trusted that the loan would be repaid by January 2019 as per their agreement. Ms. Jackson said she felt embarrassed by what had happened, but was willing to speak publicly to stop other people becoming victims and to encourage Australia's financial regulators to keep a closer eye on property spruikers. In New South Wales, a client who paid thousands of dollars to participate in courses said Mr. Leeuw suggested she pay $10,000 for a lease option over Mr. Leeuw's own home. The woman refused and said she believed it was a conflict of interest for someone running a course to seek to make a financial arrangement with a paying student. What? Lease her own home? Miss Jackson said she had been contacted by Mr. Leeuw's late brother, Jason de Leeuw, who said he had sympathy for Miss Jackson, saying, "I'm her brother, so I know about most of her dodgy dealings. I hope it wasn't a lot of money." In another message, he wrote, "Selling a lease option course for thousands of dollars, telling people that it's a proven method and system and a guaranteed six-figure income when she couldn't achieve it herself." There you go. I mean, what do you reckon, guys? It just seems... Here's the thing. There is no easy, fast way to money other than crime, and crime isn't easy. You know, if there's a lot of people, there's a lot of competition, and there's a lot of armed people out there that have been paid by other people to stop you. You know, and usually it works. The chief executive of Victoria's Consumer Action Law Centre, Gerard Brody, said lease option schemes often target the financially vulnerable and could lead to people paying far more than a property is worth or lose their deposit should the homeowner choose to sell to someone else. Oh, wait, oh, no. He said the combination of a COVID-19 economic downturn, low immigration, low interest rates, and a glut of empty city apartments could lead to a new wave of property investment schemes. Financial Counselling Foundation board member Caroline Bond said she had been studying rent-to-buy schemes for 10 years and had yet to come across a single deal where buyers, sellers, and intermediaries all benefited equitably. In 2017, the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission prosecuted the nation's most notorious promoter of rent-to-buy schemes, Rick Otten, for false and misleading conduct by promising investors they could buy a house for $1. Mr. Otter was found guilty by a federal court judge, and he and his company received a record fine of $18 million. In the past, Mr. Leeuw and Mr. Otter shared the same lawyer, Sydney vendor finance specialist Tony Cardato. The Agent Herald are not accusing Mr. Cardato or Ms. de Leeuw of any involvement in the activities of Mr. Otto for was convicted for. Ms. Cardo did not appear for Mr. Otto in the federal court and proceedings. So, well, there you go. I mean, they are making that link there. The problem is, it's just, it's really simple here, guys. If you can't even get finance from the banks now, when they've made it easier, they've gotten rid of all the restrictions, and the cash rate is pretty much at nothing. This just screams risk. There's so much risk involved in this type of thing. What do you reckon, everyone? But just think about it. 10 grand. I showed you here. Half the cost of a bond grad cert. You know, what else do they have? What other courses do they have a bond? I mean, overview of the program. There you go. I know this. I was actually considering doing it at one stage. I can't be bothered now. But still. I mean, project management, that's useful skills that can be applied everywhere. You could probably even use it buying your property. And hashtag not sponsored by Bond, but I do like their campus. It's nice. So what do you think, everyone? Have you been involved with any of these schemes? In these rent-to-buy schemes, have you, or vendor finance, have you heard ever a story of it going well? We'll have to see what comes out of it. But just remember, you need to compare these. If you're encouraged to spend thousands of dollars on these courses or things, you got to really keep it in mind of, is it worth the money that you're paying? Anyway, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Kucoin. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, everyone. Have a great day, and watch out for the spruikers.